Hey, I'm going to talk about something that's really, really personal right now. But I had a real breakthrough, and I wanted to recognize some people that have helped me to um, through something very difficult. And first of all, my husband, and he's always my biggest fan and my biggest supporter. And God bless you, my baby. I love you. Thank you for everything. I want to talk about something that's been very, very painful for roughly 14 years, more than 14 years, because my sister's been married 14 years, but before she was married to him, she was with him at least 5, 6 years. But my sister's husband, yeah, me and my sister were very, very close. And I love my sister. I love both my sisters. But this sister, we were very close. We had a very loving relationship. We had a very caring relationship, very trusting relationship. To explain how close me and my 3 sisters are, I was the baby of the family, and I was in the house after my sisters are 17 and 18 years older than me. So after they were gone and everything, I was helping to take care of my dad, who got very, very sick, with my mom, and I was working, but I stayed in my parents' house because it was too difficult for my mom to take care of my dad on her own, even though we did have nurses that came in and helped and stuff. It just was a very difficult situation, and she needed the moral and emotional and love support as well, and my dad did too. And so I was in my early 20s, and I helped take care of my parents, and my parents knew, that my dad was gonna, he only had so much time after he had his heart attack, because it was such a horrible, horrible, heinous heart attack that did so much destruction to his heart that, the doctors were like, we don't even know how he's living. They pretty much said my father was living on sheer will, and he did that for 6 more years after he had his heart attack. But so everything I was included in everything. My mom put me on the house. My mom put me on the car. I was on all their accounts. I was on all their credit cards. I was on everything, so that if anything happened to my mom, and I was having to take care of my dad and her at the same time, and neither of them could take care of their business, I had full authority to do anything and everything to take care of them. And it was on me, the youngest, because I was at the house. It wasn't because they loved me or trusted me more than either. My other sisters one of my other sisters been living at home, and I had been living away as my other sisters were. The one that was home would have been the one that had everything. So basically, when my mom and dad died, everything was pretty much mine because it was my name. And but there was so much, just to tell you how much trust I had, and we had it with each other. My dad died and my mom died 9 months later. And I literally couldn't handle it. Because my parents had been my whole entire world, I couldn't deal with anything. But everything was in my name. I remember going to the courthouse and signing the house over to my sister. I signed the cars over to my sister. I don't think we ever changed the names on the bank account. I might have added my sister's name to the bank account, or she might have just had me just write checks to clear out the monies. But basically, there's so much trust involved, and this is how loving we are as a family, that I just, put everything in her name. And I had it in my name, and it was my parents understood that whatever happened, and both of them had passed away, no matter what, me and my sisters were not going to fight, and we were going to share equally, and that is what happened. And so that's how close we were. That's basically how close we were, and because I was the youngest, and I was in my early 20s when my parents died, my older sisters always kind of felt very mothering and loving to me and taking care of me, and really and truly at points in time I needed it, but I did end up being okay and being able to handle life again. And so, but we had a very extremely close relationship. We just always did, all of us. All three of us are very close and very loving. We were very loving with my parents, very close to our parents. I mean, there's nothing that our parents would have ever denied us or not done for us, and vice versa. And so, when this man came into my sister's life and he started being so horrible to me, um, and she accepted his horrible behavior. It was very hurtful and hateful, and um, he's he's verbally abusive to my sister, and he also, in one of the ways he verbally abuses my sister is to say bad things about my parents who he's never even met. Um, but he puts them down to put her down, and um, my other sister has always just kept her mouth shut and, just let him ramble and not say anything, but not me. And so therefore, me and him have a heinous, horrible relationship because I've pretty much told his butt off in so many different times. And there have been several times when he's attacked my parents and I've said things to him back. And he stopped himself just short of hitting me. But basically every time, I'm going to explain to you how horrible I hated him. I wanted him to hit me because it was like, you hit me, you're in prison, because I don't care how much my sister begs me. I will put your butt in jail tonight if you physically hurt me. And, she doesn't have the guts to do it. She wants to take it. That's her business, but not me. And so, and he always would just stop. He would come at me and he'd have his hand up and stuff, but he never ever actually physically hurt me. He did hurt my sister one time because he pushed her down and pushed her out of the way as he was coming at me. But, and that scared him and he stopped. But so, I mean, that is how bad the situation is between me and him. And because the situation is so bad between me and him, the situation between me and my sister is not good. We still love each other. We still say I love each other. We still talk. But my sister can't even, okay, I moved to Colombia, South America. They live in the United States, in Georgia. I live in Colombia, South America. I have not been back to the United States for 3.5 years. I've seen my sister one time. Last year she came in July. So we went without seeing each other for 2 years, which is a long time for us. And so even with me all the way in Colombia, I can't even call my sister on a weekend because he's off on the weekends, or call my sister on a night, evening time, unless I wait late till after he's asleep, because she does stay up later than him. But I literally can't even call my sister and have a 15-minute peaceful conversation with her if he is in the house, because he will start saying horrible things to her and I will hear him in the background and I know he's harassing her, and so we have to hang up. And I'm like, I'm gone, I'm out of your life, you don't hear me, you don't see me, and as far as I'm concerned, I will never want to be in the same room with this man again. But my other sister generously bought me a ticket to go to the U.S. She was going to the U.S. and she was spending 2 months in the U.S. I didn't want to spend 2 months in the U.S. because my husband's here in Colombia. I have a dog here, and then my sister has 2 dogs that are here because my other sister lives here with us. And we were watching her dogs, and it's a lot. 3 dogs. Her dogs especially are very, in particular, one is blind and he's a little bit hyper and has some issues. So it's a little bit more difficult to watch him and deal with him. And so I just didn't want to leave my husband for that amount of time. So we decided on 3 weeks. And a couple days before wanting to go to the U.S., or a couple days before it was my time to go to the U.S., I started having real anxiety. Part of it was I didn't want to leave my husband because we're very, very close. We do everything together, and I really and truly didn't think this through because 3 weeks. 3 weeks for what I was going to do, because I was going to go and visit family in Pennsylvania, family in Ohio. We wanted to see friends in North Carolina. I wanted to go to Georgia and visit my friends there. So we had all these places we wanted to go and people we wanted to see. And so really 3 weeks is like pushing it to see everybody. And but it still was too long. So part of the anxiety, I will admit, was leaving my husband. And in fact, the day before I was supposed to leave, I cried pretty much the whole day saying I didn't want to leave my husband. I don't want to leave you. But he had to stay because he needed to work and do some things, and he couldn't come at this time. So, and we didn't buy him a ticket at that point. Plus, my sister was offering to buy the ticket. It was not like, okay. Okay, so anyways, it was supposed to be a sister thing and blah, 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 blah. But the other thing that I had true anxiety about was I did not want to face being with my sister in dealing sideways or backwards or however I had to deal with it, but dealing with her issues with her husband. Because for one, we've got stuff left at her house, and I would have had to gone to her house, but only when her husband's not there to get the stuff. And I actually had to make arrangements to stay with my best friend, Debbie. Debbie Craddock, I love you. And I'm so sorry I didn't get to see you. But I had made arrangements to stay with my best friend, and I know that I would have had a wonderful time staying with her, but it kind of hurts when you can't even stay with your own sister in her house, if you kind of understand where I'm coming. And then I knew that there would be things, especially when we were going to see family, my sister would have been like, oh, my husband's so wonderful. He gave me money to take you guys out to dinner. And you know what? My sister has 2 incomes. She has retirement from the Army, and she has retirement from Social Security. So he doesn't give her shit, okay? She has money. And she shouldn't have to ask him if she wants to go and buy toilet paper, okay? And he lets her buy everything. But really and truly, she's got her own income. She doesn't need to ask him. He doesn't need to give her permission. So I knew that I probably would, you see how I popped? I knew I probably would just go a little bit nuts one time or another if after like a week and a half of listening to how wonderful he is and having to button my mouth, because it is very, very hard for me to button my mouth. If you watch any of my other videos, I've already commented on 2 other situations in YouTube that don't even have anything to do with me, because I think everybody's entitled to my opinion. I think it's a wonderful one. And so I had this horrible anxiety about that, and I had horrible anxiety about leaving my husband, and I had a horrible nightmare the morning that I was supposed to get up and go to the airport and get on the airplane, and I literally couldn't do it. I dreamed this dream that basically I died, and I was able to go say goodbye to some people, but I couldn't go say goodbye to my husband. And I just felt like if I left at that point in time, I would never see my husband again. So that was probably the final thing. But also this drama with my sister and this feeling that our relationship is nowhere near what it used to be. Nowhere near the love that it used to be. And see, this is the thing. He's listened to her talk me down and say horrible things and say I do this and I do that about me for 14 years, to the point where she's been kind of brainwashed into thinking a lot of his bad thoughts about me, she's now accepted and, you know, taken in, and she thinks them about me herself. And so our relationship is not anywhere near the loving relationship that it used to be, and it just kills me. And so last night, me and my husband, we watched this movie, and it was called Grace Card. Gracecard, Grace Card. It's a Christian movie. It's by a Christian company, but I can't even tell you the name of the company, but it's a really, really good movie if you can find it to watch it. And I have no idea where you could find it in the U.S. to watch it. I watched it on a Colombian site, so I don't know. But it's really, really good. And basically, it's about dealing with people that are just unlovable and hard to deal with, and forgiving no matter what, and forgiveness for no matter what. And basically, this one guy ends up forgiving the man who 18 years earlier had ran over and killed his son. And so, you know, I thought that and it's true, and it does happen. People who have family members murdered are able to forgive the murderer. And I was like, and I told my husband after the movie, I said, I need to be able to forgive Ken. I think it's time for me to forgive him, but I can't. At that moment in time, I honestly was like, I want to let it go, and I want to start trying to rebuild my relationship with my sister. And not let all these years, 15 years or more, of all of this horrible stuff, I want to forget it. I want to forgive it. I want to move on and just be able to love my sister like I used to. And I know that that's what my mom and dad in heaven would want. So I got up this morning and we went to church today, Sunday. And I don't know when I'll post this, but this happened on a Sunday. I went to church. And our pastor, oh my God, he gave the best sermon. And it wasn't just specifically a sermon on forgiveness, but it was a sermon about, excuse me, I gotta wipe my eyes. It was a sermon about how we have a choice in what we remember. And for some reason, as human beings, a lot of times we want to remember the bad, but we can choose to only remember the good. And he said basically, we don't need to keep going to that cemetery and digging up all the bad memories and all the bad thoughts and feelings, and we can bury them and let them go forever. And, you know, I whispered to my husband, it's time for me, you know, to bury all my bad feelings and thoughts about my sister's husband and to rebuild our relationship. And we prayed, and we went up, and Pastor had my husband pray for me, and he put his hand on my heart. And I have felt such a peace since then. And, you know, I know that I can't get back the chance to enjoy a sister vacation with my sisters right now because the ticket was canceled. The stupid airlines wanted like $600 more for me to go on a later flight. It's like the whole ticket cost $563, but just to change that one day of flight, which it was a round trip, so just to change the one day would have been $589 more. American Airlines, you suck, okay? And I'm sure all the airlines do that, but since this was an American Airlines situation, in my opinion at this point in time, American sucks, and next time I book a flight, I'm booking it on Avianca. Um, they're supposed to have bigger seats and more comfortable seats anyway. So, um, anyways, I wanted to just share with people that exactly what my pastor said, that we can make a choice to bury um, the old bad memories and not keep digging them up. And we don't have to keep going back to that cemetery and digging them up. And I think that that's so important. I think that I never heard it put in that way. And I know it's going to be a battle. I know that, for example, my husband said maybe next July, because we always have family reunions on my dad's side in July. And he said maybe you can go to maybe we can go for the family reunion in July, and then you can go and we can see the family and everything, and you can go home and pick up some of your stuff that's at your sister's and everything then. And so I know that there is going to be a point in time when I will have to at least go to my sister's house. I hope. And maybe there will come a point in time when I can actually see her husband face to face, and I can be in the same room with him. Maybe I can even tell him God loves him. I'm not quite there yet, but I do have peace now, and I do have hope, which was something that I didn't have. I never had any hope of repair for my relationship with my sister, but now I do. And so these aren't tears of sadness, these are tears of happiness. And anybody that knows me knows I'm a big ball baby, and then I cry a lot. So everybody knows that. So but anyways, I just wanted to share with you, I don't know what you're going through, what you're dealing with, but you can bury it in the past, like my pastor said, and you can move on. And if you're a Christian, Jesus will give you the strength to go on. And I know now I have hope. I have hope that I can be with my sister and just cherish the happy moments, and let the things that bother me just over my head, and that we can reform a loving and caring relationship, and that she can see again how much I do love her. So anyways, this was really important for me today, and so I hope that making this, if friends and family see it, they'll understand why I didn't come to the U.S. I think they get the George thing, the Jorge thing, why I didn't want to leave him. They know that we're crazy madly in love with each other and can barely stand to be apart for a couple days. And the couple times he's had to go, he had to go to Bogota to get my sister's visa, and then one time he also had to go to Bogota. He was going to translate for a pastor, and so he went for that. And I'm never happy. And he's gone and done a couple things for his parents, like for a day trip or something like that. And even that, I'm like, oh. So I think everybody understands me as far as the George part, not wanting to leave him. But I think that hopefully now they understand some more of the anxiety I felt, and why this just was not the right time. And I think I had to be here this Sunday to hear my pastor speak, and start the healing process before I'm ready to be with my sister again. And I actually feel like, honestly, now I could fly to the U.S. tomorrow, and it would be, and start healing my relationship with her. I wish that I'd heard this speech and my heart had been more prepared, and everything 2 weeks before, and then I would have been able to get on that plane. But um, anyways, God has his reasons for everything. So, and I've talked 25 minutes, so I think that's enough for anybody. God bless everybody. You have a blessed day, and just know that God loves you and that Jesus Christ is King. Ciao.